One of the biggest icons in world football, Lionel Messi, completed a grand India tour. Kolkata, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, packed stadiums, massive crowds, unmatched frenzy. India once again proved one thing beyond doubt. There is no shortage of football fans in India. But are photo ops, celebrity interactions, politicians sharing the stage, and symbolic kickoffs really the benchmark of a football-loving nation? Because while the country went gaga over Argentina's World Cup winning captain, India's football star Sandesh Jhingan issued a caution. Not a rant, not a complaint, a warning. Because while crores were spent celebrating Messi, Indian football itself is staring at a future trapped inside a dark tunnel with no clear light at the end of it in sight. Now, ever since Lionel Messi landed in Kolkata on the early morning of December 13, football somehow stopped being the focus. Think about that. One of the greatest footballers of all time comes to India and the sport itself takes a back seat. Entertainment took over. Now Messi did his part, delivered exactly what he was contracted to do. So the question is not for Messi. It's for the organizers and more importantly for the fans. Why did India settle for hype over hard conversations? Because millions were spent to bring Messi to the country. At a time when Indian football is fighting for survival, at a time when the Indian Super League remains in a limbo, at a time when clubs, players, coaches and support staff don't know what is coming next. Not too long ago, Olympic gold medalist Abhinav Bindra expressed his discomfort. And now Indian football star Sandesh Jhingan has gone a step further. He asked a question that cuts deep.
We are close to shutting everything down because there is no willingness to invest in football within India. Yet crores were spent on this tour. We do love the sport, but perhaps not enough to support our own players.
We love the sport, but not enough to support our own players. That line hurts because it is true, isn't it? And this question isn't just for the AIFF because that would be too easy. It isn't just for event organizers. It was their job to pull off a tour. It's for the fans. Yes, fans have every right to spend their money how they choose to. And no, Jhingan is not asking fans to fund footballers or the sport. What he's asking is far more important. He's urging the football community in the country to wake up and start demanding accountability from those who run the sport. Because let's be honest, what about this tour was actually football? Did Indian football gain anything structurally? Did young Indian players get meaningful exposure? Did academies, grassroots, systems or coaching pathways benefit? The national team barely featured. Rising India players didn't even get a chance to interact with Messi. Apart from Sunil Chhetri and a former woman footballer Aditi Chauhan, there was virtually no footballing exchange. And now the tour is over. 4 days later, the confetti is gone, the cameras have moved on. The real issue remains untouched. Why hasn't Indian football restarted its league? Why is the ecosystem still uncertain? Why are the hard questions still being avoided? This is the problem. India doesn't lack passion for football. India lacks priority. We celebrate icons but ignore institutions. We cheer moments but neglect systems. Until Indian football becomes more than just an event, Messi's visit will remain just that, a headline and a memory, not a turning point. If India can spend crores to host a legend, then surely it can invest in building its own, because loving football isn't about who you celebrate for 3 days. It's about who you stand by when the cameras disappear, and that's the ugly truth Sandesh Jhingan is asking us to confront.
I was born into privilege, but I sold myself as the voice of the poor. I led a revolution in the mountains and marched into Havana as a hero. I promised freedom, equality, dignity. What I built was a one-party state. I survived invasions, embargoes, and enemies, but my people survived shortages in silence. Some called me El Comandante. History calls me something else. A dictator. Who am I?